Now we're going to work on this groove which runs around the periphery of the top of this part. And to do that, we're going to use a toolpath called a contour. So I go and I add a contour to this toolpath group. And typically a contour comes in from the side and starts to remove material around the periphery of a part and leaves what's called a boss or a elevated island at the top. We're going to use it in a slightly different way by modifying some of the parameters so that it essentially does the same thing, but it doesn't come in from the side. It's going to sort of come in from the top. First thing we want to do is again realize that we're in 3D and we want to grab an edge to define the chain which subsequently defines the toolpath. So let's make this bigger so we can kind of see what we're doing here. So these are the edges of my groove. So I am going to select the interior edge here, and I'll explain why a little later. And you can see that it took the loop that's vertical. We want the other face, so the one that goes around here, as you can see, grabbed it. So I say OK and OK. And this is a contour, so the tool we're going to use, again, let's stick with the 1/8 inch flat end mill. By the way, I believe this is 4 flutes. Yep, 4 flutes, which we have. Cut parameters. Okay, so the cut parameters that we're going to change so that this contour cut doesn't behave like a more conventional contour, which again comes in from the side and removes stuff from the outside and leaves a boss. We're going to change the contour type to ramp. So we're going to ramp in rather than come in on a 2D plane from the outside. Okay. Now this is important. The compensation direction is the left. So I am going to be on the left of my chain. Alright? And you'll notice that I selected as my chain the inside of that groove, and I'll show you that in a minute to amplify on that. But we want to have left so that we cut on the left of the chain. Alright, depth cuts. I don't think we need a depth cut for this, so we're just going to take it all in one big bite, so to speak. And lead in, lead out. This is very important. So in order to prevent this contour cut from coming in from the outside and and instead come in from the top so that we can get that groove, we'll want to deselect lead in and lead out completely. So lead in and lead out, as you can kind of see from these little pictures, tells how delicately we start to mill horizontally, so to speak, as we go to make that boss in the center, if we were using contour as it frequently is used. But we don't want to do that, so I'm going to deselect lead in, lead out. With time, that will become more obvious what that means. Okay. We're not going to break through and make a hole, have the groove go all the way through the material. We're not going to do multi-passes. This is sort of multi-passes from the inside, not applicable to us. Again, this would be that boss that we would leave. Linking parameters. This is the important Z value determination. So for depth, I'm going to come in here and find the depth of my groove. I click. It's a 1/4 inch. So it's a depth. Actually, I thought it was 1/8. That's okay. We'll go ahead and take that in one pass. Alright, so now we go into business here. So home position, again, something that just is sort of reasonable for our system. The approach points, we want to get in the habit of coming up from the side, a height of maybe about 2 inches above the stock. we retract back toward the back at 2 inches from the stock. And okay. Alright, now let's go ahead and do the back plot for this particular one. So if I click the back plot button, it comes in, and there it goes. See, it's ramping in rather than coming in a two-dimensional fashion from the side. And kind of make sure it gets everything, because it did ramp in, and out it goes. And let's see how that looks on a verify, and hope that it works well. So to verify, we just have the one button here, and I think it's going to do both of these here, so let's go ahead and do that. So okay, no, so it just did the one. Okay, so you can see that we got our groove here. We got our groove back. Okay, so that is 2/3 of our work with Mastercam on our GDF part. Let's move to the circles in our next screencast.